I absolutely love Back to the Future. So, of course, I had to make this video about the deleted scenes from this amazing movie, scenes that could have changed a lot. If you're a fan of Back to the Future, go ahead and like this video, and let's dive in. When Marty arrives in Hill Valley in the second movie, he sees Biff's huge tower. Before he goes inside, he runs into his brother Dave, who's getting kicked out of the building. They have an interesting conversation. Dave, who's drunk and lost in life, invites Marty to grab some drinks, but gets a bit upset when Marty asks about their father, who's dead in this timeline, and tells him that their mother is inside Biff's tower before walking away. I really like this scene, and I think it would have been great in the movie. The next deleted scene is with McFly and Doc in Doc's garage. Doc looks through Marty's suitcase and finds things like pajamas, some Playboy photos, and a hairdryer. He asks Marty what it is, and Marty explains. Doc then asks if towels don't exist in the future anymore. Speaking of hairdryers, let's move on to another deleted scene, which actually had an extended version in the movie. It's the scene where Marty goes to his dad's house, claims to be Darth Vader, and tries to convince him to ask Lorraine to the dance. This scene became famous because of a funny mistake. You can see the hairdryer at Marty's waist, then it disappears, then it shows up again. Many fans were confused about this, but the previous deleted scene would have explained where the hairdryer came from. In the extended version, Marty and George have a long conversation, with Marty convincing George and even threatening him with the hairdryer. It continues with Marty leaving George's house and getting into the car where Doc is waiting. It's interesting to think about how these deleted or extended scenes would have added fun details to the movies. And if you love seeing deleted scenes that could have totally changed the course of movies, I have some great news for you. Here on the channel, there's a playlist dedicated to deleted movie scenes, so be sure to check out the card. Now it's Biff's turn, the guy who, no matter what year it is, will always be a thorn in Marty's side. This scene with him would have completely changed the future. In Back to the Future Part 2, there's a scene where Biff starts disappearing, ceasing to exist. When he gives the sports almanac to his younger self, he becomes rich and turns into a multimillionaire, right? That's the storyline of the second movie. However, as we see, he mistreats and abuses Lorraine, who grows tired of him, leading her to kill him in the 1990s. This would mean he no longer exists in the future in 2015, so he begins to disappear completely until he dies. Crazy scene. Now, there's a particularly intense deleted scene, which might explain why it was cut. In Back to the Future Part 3, Buford Tannen and his gang encounter the Marshal and his son. The Marshal also appears in the movie's party scene and is the grandfather of Principal Strickland from the school. Interestingly, he's played by the same actor, James Tolkan, who's 93 years old now. In this deleted scene, after a brief conversation, Buford, in a cowardly act, shoots the Marshal in the back as he and his son walk away, causing him to fall off his horse and die instantly. Heavy for the son to witness that. Now tell me something important. Are you enjoying this video? If yes, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to not miss anything. Here, you'll find new videos daily about your favorite movies, and it only takes a second to support the channel. Another deleted scene from the second movie would have been interesting to see. Marty watches his beloved school catch fire and get destroyed. This scene didn't make it into the film, but it's referenced when Marty arrives in the ruined Hill Valley and ends up at Mr. Strickland's house. Marty mentions knowing him from school, and Strickland explains that the school closed 6 years ago due to a fire. Even though the scene wasn't included, it's cool that they kept the reference. The next deleted scene involves Terry, the same guy who suggests to Marty that he place bets using the sports almanac. In this scene, he and Marty run into an older Biff, and Terry and Biff argue about the time Biff crashed into manure, which Terry had to clean up, dealing with all the smell and mess. Remember that scene at the end of the first movie? In the background, we see Doc fiddling with his wallet, pulling out something small. It's unclear if it's a document or money to bribe the officer. future. But in this deleted scene, it turns out he was bribing the guy so he could keep going with his experiment since he didn't have any official permission. Right after, in the same scene, Marty says that he's worried about possibly falling for his own mother and how that could totally alter him, even affecting his sexuality when he returned to the future. If you're a Back to the Future fan like me and want more videos like this, comment hashtag Back to the Future. Remember that funny scene where both Jennifers meet and faint? There was actually an extended version of it, a deleted part we never got to see in the final cut. After Doc takes the present-day Jennifer, 2015 Marty and his family hear the noise and check it out. They find 2015 Jennifer, and Marty thinks she's drunk again. In another deleted scene, when Marty is in 1955, he thinks he's dreaming and asks a woman to pinch him. She gets angry and slaps him hard. Right after that, a police officer glares at Marty, and he quickly hands over the newspaper and leaves. As I mentioned earlier, if you love deleted scenes, check out the intense ones I covered about cars and the dark deleted torture scenes from Toy Story. Really heavy stuff. Thanks so much for watching, and see you in the next video here on Cine Lovers.